Welcome back to another episode of Let's Have a Sip. I'm your host, Sean Drinks. What's going on, man?
Another beautiful day, my friend. We're happy to be alive.
I know you said you were traveling. Where exactly are you at right now?
I'm currently up in Buffalo, New York, destination of nobody.
Okay. I got you, man. So, Head Richards, introduce yourself. What are you all about?
My name's Head Richards. I do stand-up comedy. I'm lucky. I get to travel around, do a lot of different venues. And I'm a ginger. So ultimately, I'm a unicorn, right? We are the unicorn race. We make up 1% of the world's population. So come get some.
My fiance's a redhead, so she is definitely a unicorn. Y'all are all unicorns, for sure.
Nice. Did you know, I'm not like this, but most redheads actually don't like other redheads.
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
I mean, not that you're going to ask your wife, hey, would you do another redhead because you guys are married? But I guarantee the answer would have been no, even if she was single.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to ask her that. I have no idea, but that's pretty fucking funny. So,
also, I can't have a redheaded child. Thank God, it's passed down generation.
Is that how that works?
It skips a generation. Yeah, so I don't have to punish a kid. Thank God.
Okay. So I noticed your shirt. I want to get one of those shirts. It says "I support Head," right?
Is that my titty? Am I showing my titties? What's going on?
There you go. I just want to. Okay. So I remember.
I think it's a funny T-shirt. I don't know. I like to wear T-shirts that make people laugh.
I love it, man. I love it. I don't know if you wore that during the show that I saw you at, but I don't know. But I like that shirt. I need to get one from you. Give me a link. I'll buy one.
I'll save one for you. What show were you at? I don't usually wear them at the shows.
So it was at Hyenas in Dallas. I don't remember exactly when it was, but you were one of the openers, and I was
the headliner.
TJ Miller.
Pretty good show to be at. First of all, super funny guy, but he actually asked for one of my shirts, and he did wear it on stage the one night. So maybe that was the night.
Maybe probably because I know it was you and then Dustin Chafin, I think is
yeah. He's originally from Dallas. He lives out in LA now, but he's a good guy too.
Okay, cool, man.
But you know it's a funny shirt if TJ Miller wants one, right?
Oh fuck yeah, yeah. So no, I remember seeing you there, and your confidence was just exuding while you were on stage, and the way you were working with the crowd. I was like, this guy is fucking dope. So then that's whenever I reached out to you, I was like, I got to talk to this guy. So
I appreciate that for sure. It didn't happen overnight. It was a lot of working shitty bar mics over and over, just trying to get to where I am right now with my confidence on stage.
Yeah. So how did you actually get started in the art of stand-up?
So I'm about 3.5 years in now, I think, or more than that. October will be 4 years. I don't know what month it is anymore. But anyway, so a year before I started stand-up comedy, my one buddy, Shippy, which a lot of people in Dallas might know, he was on the Ben and Skin show for a while on Not the Ticket. That's the enemy. What's the other radio station? Ah, shit.
I'm not a Dallas native, so I'm not sure.
Okay. So, yeah, he was on the Fan. He was on the Fan radio station for a long time. Hit me up one night. He's like, hey, Ed, I got this extra ticket for a comedy show. Do you want to go? And I was like, screw it. I'll eat edibles and go watch a comedy show. And honestly, up until that point, I didn't hate stand-up comedy, but I didn't have a passion or a love for it either. I was just, it's whatever. And it was Brad Williams that night. I don't know if you know who Brad Williams is. He's a dwarf comic, but absolutely freaking hilarious. I had the time of my life that night. And it was funny. After the show, I was like, Shippy, we got to meet him because obviously comics do the meet and greets. And right before Shippy was ahead of me, so he's about to take a picture. And then right before Shippy went before me, I was like, as he was walking to Brad, I was like, are you supposed to stand or take a knee for this photo? And it just mentally fucked Shippy the whole time up there. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? But that's just little things with me. I like fucking with my friends. It's just, let's make people feel awkward, right?
Yeah. I do the same thing.
ever since then, I would try to go to like 1 or 2 shows a month, depending on what city I'm in, because obviously I travel a lot with my day job too. And after a year, I got back to Dallas, and I was like, let me see who's in town for comedy. And I got hit with that Facebook ad. Oh, you think you're funny? Come sign up for our school. And then I looked up, it was like $180. And I was like, honestly, I spent worse money on things before than that. Let's give it a try. And that's when I just fell in love with it.
Nice, man. Yeah, I've always, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm like situationally funny, but I was like, it would be so cool to do stand up, but I'm like, I am terrible at public speaking. I would probably shit myself, but that's just me.
Now, for me, I always felt like I was like, when I'm with my friends in a room, I'm holding court. We're having fun. Everyone's dying laughing. But it's different when you're on stage because everyone there, they don't know the inside stories, right? So you almost got to redevelop it to so they know what's going on. And there's definitely an art to it. Now, as far as being afraid, like I used to do pro wrestling. So I used to wear little tight spandex and put baby oil on and go touch other guys in front of a room full of people.
There you go.
So me being fully clothed with a microphone isn't as scary.
Shit, yeah, you were groomed for this then.
But I just fell in love with it, man. And I tried very early on. Someone told me in comedy, they're like, because I work in sports, they're like, "Head, comedy's a lot like sports. Right now, for baseball, like you're in T-ball. You got to put your time in and earn your respect. You're a rookie." And I just took that to heart, and I was like, you know what? You gotta be out there every night, getting seen by these people, putting in time, and that's what I did. It's every night for almost 2 years. I was pretty much out doing open mics or just watching a show because you could get better watching other comics perform on shows.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so you said you work in the sports industry? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I used to work in pro hockey. I was an equipment guy for 10 years. I worked with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, which some people might know from The Office. That was the team jersey that Dwight gave to Michael that said "From Dwight Number 1."
I love The Office. Such a good show.
It actually sucks because I'm from Wilkes-Barre. When I moved to Texas, no one ever knew where like my hometown was. You know how we all have pride of where we come from. And it'd be so frustrating that the only way they'd ever get it, I'm like, oh, The Office, Scranton? Yeah, I'm the next town over.
Yeah.
I never watched that show until maybe like 3 years ago because I was always like, fuck Scranton. Just because like that was our rival growing up. You know what I mean? So that's a small town. That rival shit lasts forever. There's still people who won't go to Scranton, even though it's only 10 minutes away.
Wow.
But I had nothing else to watch, and I was like, let me give it a shot. And I probably watch it 30 times through now.
Yeah, it's such a good show, man. I mean, I literally probably talk about it once a week with some of my coworkers. So I'm outside of doing the podcast and stuff like that, I'm a manager at UPS. So I just moved here to the DFW area about like a little over a year ago. So, and dude, like coming from Tennessee to here, and it's people talk about it all the time. It's hot as fuck. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's definitely hot in Texas, especially right now. We're probably pushing 110 every day. Depending on exactly where you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so
I love it, man. I don't know. Your body definitely adjusts. You're probably outside more than me, though. I don't go outside during the day because I burn too easy.
Yeah.
But I feel like Dallas, for the most part, is more of a dry heat, though. Like where you go to Houston, you go to Austin, it's so muggy. I remember one time I was in Houston going to a baseball game. I took a shower, and by the time I walked out the front of the hotel to get in the cab, not Ubers yet. Ubers weren't invented. I was already dripping in sweat. Like, why did I even shower?
Yep, no point. No fucking point. So, you said you've been doing stand-up for 3 years, correct? Roughly?
Yeah, a little over 3. Like I said, October will be my 4th year.
Okay,
4 years in.
Okay, so 3.5. Now, I'm sure you've had to deal with hecklers, right?
Yeah, yes, obviously, but I feel like because I'm an opener, people are still eating their food and drinking their drinks at that point. So they're not as, I got to be involved in the show yet. But I've definitely had times where phones ring a lot, and that pisses me off. Where they have, obviously, the opening announcement, silence your phones, keep them away. But there's always someone, and it seems like they can never find their phone when it's ringing, right? It just rings and rings and rings. Whether they can't find it or they're just embarrassed, they don't want to be the person to reach for it, even when everyone's looking right at them.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I try to have fun with it. I'm not trying to shit on somebody.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
I probably shouldn't curse. My bad.
I don't care. You can curse. I don't give a shit. So I was just wondering because I haven't personally been to a stand-up show where I've seen someone heckle people, but you see it on social media, whatever. It's probably I'm not in that type of environment. I'm not a stand-up comedian, obviously. So it's very interesting to see stuff like that, and then to see how the comedian is kind of, I guess, firing back at whoever that may be in the crowd. So I wasn't sure if you had any experience with that before. So
my thing is, I try to keep it playful because I'm still an opener. I'm trying to grow my fan base. I'm not trying to piss someone off there where they're like fuckhead, and I'm not gonna, because I sell merch too, right? So I want you to like me, want to buy a shirt or a koozie after the show, so I can make a couple extra bucks. So if I do something that's gonna piss you off, you might not like Head. But is that even, I don't know. Everyone loves Head. Let's be honest. Is there someone that doesn't love Head?
If there isn't, then I don't want to be their friend. So that's just me. So I know you said that yesterday a movie just dropped, Detroit Dreams.
Yep, I'm actually very excited about it. Last summer I was living in Detroit, and I got to be a part of 4 different movies. And yesterday the first one came out on streaming, which is on Tubi, which is free, so no reason everyone listening can't go download the app and watch the movie. Get me my thing up. But it's called Detroit Dreams. It's all about I don't want to give too much away and spoil it. So it's basically about a movie producer. It's about the real music history of Detroit, not the Eminem media-made stuff, but about the real music history of Detroit and how a producer tried to bring the city together, because back in the day, the East versus the West was always feuding, and that stopped them from really producing good music. So it's about a guy who tried to bring the whole city together as one. And you might cry. It could be a tearjerker.
Okay.
But I watched it yesterday, obviously, because I'm in it. I obviously fast forward to see my scenes first. And then I went back and watched it, and Al Nuke was our producer, writer. He did a great job on it. I'm very impressed. And today it is the #1 urban streaming movie on Tubi. Let me know what you think.
Oh, I will. No doubt.
There'll be no confusing who I am in the movie, okay? I am the only ginger in the entire movie.
Yeah, I don't think we can miss you. So Head Richards, how the hell did you? That's your nickname. How did you get that nickname?
To me, it's my name. It's not my legal name, but it's my name. For as long as I can remember, people have called me Head since I was a little kid. Looking back, you see the baby photos. I'm not trying to rip off Mike Myers and Still I Married an Axe Murderer, but I did look like an orange on a toothpick as a younger child. And then at 11 years old, I hit puberty. I sprouted up like 6'1", just a tall, lanky kid with this big old head. I wear a size 8 fitted hat, which is a pretty big-ass head. And growing up playing sports, it was hard to play a lot of sports because helmets didn't fit. I played football my 7th grade year, and I had to quit like 3 games in because I couldn't take the headaches anymore. And they wouldn't get me a bigger helmet. And they were like, oh, XL is the biggest. I'm like, no, there's 2X helmets. And they just wouldn't order me one. And I just I quit. I was like, screw this. And I went and played hockey. They had better fitting helmets.
Okay. I got you. And you may have explained that whenever you were like on.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit on stage, but just for your audience so they know. I also played baseball, where right when I started playing is when like the goalie mask for baseball, the catchers came out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Everyone had to start wearing it. But I was actually the only person in the state of Pennsylvania that had a doctor's note that had me to wear the old 2-piece because that was the only one that fit my head.
Damn.
So every game, especially as a kid, you're not responsible. I had to keep like this PIAA state letter with me to show the umpire saying that I was legally allowed to wear that old helmet.
Jesus.
But
I feel like I have a pretty big head. Like I don't wear hats because I think I look goofy in them. But like if I ever wear a snapback, which I never do, I have to put it on the last snap and I have to turn it backwards and it still barely fits. And I'm just like, this is just not for me. So
yeah, snapback bats don't look good on me. I got to leave them unbuckled. They don't fit. They just like rest on top. And I don't even have hair, so it's not like I have big hair where I need a big hat, right?
Yeah.
But as far as head goes, easily 85%, 90% of the kids I grew up with don't know my real name. I played sports with, went to school with. They would just call me Head. Excuse me. And like if you wrote me a check, I come from such a small town. If you wrote me a check to Head Richards, I could cash it in my small town. That's how like known as Head I am there. But if I do it in Dallas, they're like, this ain't your name. You can't cash this.
I never had a nickname. Well, I had nicknames, but not to the extent where like I can go to the bank and do that. But that's pretty fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I do love it because it definitely throws people off, right? Because they're like, oh, it's got to be a sexual reference. Fuck, we're not doing that. Like show promoters at first, like we're not calling you Head. I'm like, well, you ain't calling me anything then. And then I go on stage and they see my act and they're like, Head, great job tonight. Well, you came around.
Yeah. At the end of the day, always be true to yourself. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. So keep doing that, man. I think it's fucking awesome. So how do you choose, like, and it's probably like a last minute thing sometimes, but like, how are you choosing what venues you're going to go do some stand up at?
If they accept me.
Yeah.
I literally send out emails every week trying to get booked at venues all over the country. Because I feel you grow the more areas you get to work to where, how can I put this? Like if someone just starts in Dallas and they're in Dallas for 10 years, you only know how to work the Dallas market.
Yeah.
To where it's like trying to teach old dog new tricks. Where after 10 years, you're kind of set in your ways. You go to this other, let's say you go to Oklahoma and you're doing a joke that's worked for 10 years and you get there and it bombs and you're like, what the fuck? Fuck these people.
Yeah.
And it's not the joke. It's just these people can't relate the same way Dallas people relate. So I've learned how to tweak, not even change a whole joke, tweak a word or two so the people in San Francisco could understand it better than Dallas, where they make it feel more resonant with them in their everyday life.
Yeah, that does make sense because I noticed because I've actually seen Dustin Chafin, I think maybe 2 times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was with TJ Miller both times. And, he would, and I think you may have told me he's originally from Texas, correct?
Yeah, somewhere in the Dallas suburb areas. Exactly what city I don't remember right now off the top of my head.
Yeah, so he would always just make references specific to that area to be able to resonate with, whatever. So it totally makes sense.
And he's really good with it. Like I said, I got to travel with him and TJ for a bit. And every city, he'll like go research, which is smart. You want to get good at your craft, but just talk about different things that relate to each city, like over the top. And it's like it has the people believing he's from every city.
That is pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do more research whenever people come on here too, because there's like whenever we're talking about whatever, they'll bring up something and I'm like, fuck, I probably could have looked that up and figured it out very easily. So
especially now, it's so easy, right? With the internet, it's insane.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So if you had to choose between, and I have a feeling I already know what you're going to say. If you had to choose between either acting or stand up, which would it be?
Stand up, not even close. I don't give a shit about acting, and I kind of actually feel bad about it because, like I said, I did 4 different movies last year. They should all be coming out this year. You do all this work, which it's cool to be on set and everything, but then you got to wait to have a reaction from people.
Yeah,
like it's been over a year, and I haven't seen it. Today is the first day where I'm getting messages. Hey, I seen you this. It's funny. Great job. Da da da. Where like comedy, it's on the spot. You know if you're doing a good job or bad job. Because I never acted before. There's people that go to school for acting and then probably do millions of auditions and don't get it on a movie or a show. And here I am. I was just in the right spot at the right time. I was in Detroit doing a show, and someone came up to me after and they said, hey, are you available tomorrow? We need someone to play a security guard in this movie. Would you be interested? And I was like, absolutely. I don't do anything during the day except nap and spank it and watch movies. Like, so save me some lotion that day, and I got to be in a movie. And then from that set, from each set of the movie, they asked me to do this other movie, and then the last one. Actually, I'll tell you, the last one, I didn't even know I was going to do. I had about 3 days left in Detroit, because like I said, I was there for the summer. My phone rings. I'm like, hello. And they're like, hey, Head, are you still in Detroit? We need someone to come tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to take pictures of little kids. And I'm like, no, I'm good on that. I have self morals. I'm not going to do that. And they're like, no. And then they explain the situation where it's these kids that are inspired by this person taking a picture by this like mural. And I was like, please explain that next time. Not just say take pictures of little kids, because that way it sounded creepy as hell, right? Like,
Yeah,
no
it's
thanks.
like what's that show where it's like, take a seat over here. Why don't you sit down? What's that show?
Hi, I'm Chris Hansen, MC. Why don't you take a seat
Yes.
over here? Catch
Yes.
the predator.
God, that reminds me of like
that South Park episode was just on
Yes.
the other day.
I was just getting ready to say that. Oh God, dude,
have a seat. Take a seat. No, have a seat. Take a seat over here.
God, I love South Park. So there's one episode, like I was saying a minute ago, I work at UPS, and there's one episode where they make fun of UPS drivers. Have you seen that one?
Mommy, fuck the UPS guy.
Yeah, and then so one of the kids walks in, whatever, and they're like frightened. Yeah, and then fucking, oh God, what is it? He draws a picture in crayon, and then one of the dads finds it. He's like, oh, what
stick figure?
Yeah, and then like all the dads are getting together, and they all buy Bane masks and stuff like that. Not today, Mr. UPS man.
And then they start hunting them down and getting other packages. What'd you get delivered? I don't know.
God.
That's how Amazon works, though. You forget what you order half the time. Am I banging the UPS driver now? I don't know.
I mean, that's my fiance is an ordering machine. So is our whole neighborhood. Like every day, the UPS guy's on our road for like an hour. That's an exaggeration, but yeah, they're ordering shit out the ass. So
it just makes it so convenient. You don't have to go to the store, right, for stupid shit. So just order, get it delivered.
Yep, pretty much. But yeah, man. So where got any future venues or anything you're going to, or any future movies we can talk about?
I do got Power and Money coming out August 27th, the red carpet. They haven't announced the streaming for that, but I'll be out of Detroit as well. I play a cop in that movie. And then in August, the Pop-Up movie's coming out where I play the security guard. And then I still haven't heard yet on this other movie called Melatonin, where basically they make a tanning pill. And I'm an executive for the advertising board for that company. And yeah, I don't want to say too much more about that movie, but the pill doesn't work out as good as they thought. So it's just me dealing with backlash and stuff. So I'm waiting for that to come out. But turns out there's a shortage of white actors in Detroit. So they needed me. And they stereotyped the shit out of me, huh? Security guard, cop, photographer, executive.
If they need more security guards, let me know. I'm 6'8". I'm a big boy. So I used to be a bouncer, and I hated every second of that. It was terrible.
Why? You don't like being a dick to people?
Dealing with drunk people all night just was not fun.
I bounced for a while. I actually bounced at a strip club.
Okay.
And when I used to work in the minor leagues in hockey, we make shit money. Like I was probably making $20,000 a year. And so the summer, the off season, you had to find another job. And right next to our arena was a strip club. And they used the same exact parking lot. So I was like, fuck it, I already know how to get there. And that was a good job. You got paid like $20 an hour. And back then I was pumped for that.
Oh yeah.
People are just, when they're drunk, like, I didn't realize how stupid drunk people are.
Yeah.
Because usually you're drunk having fun with them, right? And then they think they can kick your ass, and it's like, I'm sober. Like, even if you're tougher, you're not on your game right now. But
I'm not a trained fighter or anything like that, but I'm just big, so I can handle myself. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much all I had going for me back then. But I was not getting paid $20 an hour. I was getting paid like 12, so I was getting the shaft.
Mm-hmm. That owner hated me, though, because we always had to wear suits to look the role, but I refused to wear a tie. I'm like, because every night something's going to happen at a strip club. Not that we're instigating, but someone gets drunk, you have your drunk muscles. And what are they going to do? They're going to grab onto my tie, and then I'm going to be stuck. So fuck that. I'm not getting my ass kicked.
That makes total sense.
Best 3 summers ever.
Anytime soon you're coming to Dallas? Because I would love to come see you again.
Not that I know of. I'm kind of just working the northeast part of the country right now.
Okay.
I'm just kind of stationed up in Buffalo because it's kind of centrally located for me. Like I said, I'm new to comedy. I'm just trying to grow my fan base. So
yeah,
I've been working out here. I did Ohio a little bit, Pennsylvania. I got to do some stuff out in Boston. I had 3 weeks out there. That's a special city, man. Let me tell you, like, I don't even know what to say. I just had the time of my life out there. They drink, they have fun. Even the people who like you said, heckle. It was a fun heckle that just like it led into more laughter. I don't know. If you go to Laugh Boston, go to Laugh Boston up there. It's an unbelievable venue. Shout out to them.
I've never been to Boston, but I would definitely like to go up there. I haven't really been to the Northeast too much, but I was just in New York. I was in upstate Albany area, kind of buddy's wedding. Yeah. That's about the extent of me being in the Northeast. Never been to New York City. I need to go there. I can't believe I haven't been there yet. But
I hate it. That's what I'm dreading because, like in comedy, like when you eventually get there, you're make or break, like becoming a star. You got to go to LA or New York. It's just how it is because of the movie industry. And I don't really have ambition to live in either city because, like I said, I'm a small town guy. So that big city living, like I hate. That's why I like Dallas because it's not as bad. Like everything's spaced out.
Yeah.
I live out in Las Colinas, so it's very like when you're home, you're home. You don't hear all this noise. It's quiet. Like leave me the fuck alone. You don't get that in New York City. You don't get that in LA. You hear sirens all night, what have you, people, music because there's probably a club on that street jamming, which is fun. Let's have fun, but. Like I said, when I'm home, I want to be home. No one bother me. But if we're out, let's have the time of our lives.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that because, like, so I was born in New Orleans, and then I moved to Tennessee in 2005. So 2005 up until May of last year is whenever I lived there. Lived in a very small town. And kind of similar to you, it's like, oh, you know where Chattanooga, Tennessee's at? So, yeah, I live in the next city over, just kind of similar to what you were saying. So, very rural area, mountain town, kind of close. It's southeast Tennessee. Smoky Mountains are around there, and just beautiful outdoor areas and stuff like that. So, whenever I moved to Texas, it was definitely my anxiety was heightened just because like I wasn't so used to living in the city, and I kind of feel like. I can't compare it to New York because I've never been there, but you're kind of saying stuff's a little bit more spaced out. But I feel like in this general area where I'm at, the houses are very close together. If the windows are open, people can be like, "What are you doing?" Because I'm the kind of guy to walk around just like I want to walk around naked. That's just how I am. And my girlfriend knows that, and she's like, "Well, fiance," and they get better at saying that because I just proposed to her the other day.
Congratulations!
Thank you, appreciate that. And I'm like, she's like, you better make sure the windows are closed. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So, but yeah,
that's one thing. Like, I think that's another reason why I like Boston because, like, I grew up in a blue collar town. People work for their money, and like Boston, even though it's a bigger city, like it's a blue collar vibe. Same like Pittsburgh, and it's just I don't know if I just relate to those people better to make me have more fun. I do miss it, but I do love living in Dallas, Texas. Man, there's no greater city. I think maybe Scottsdale is a close second. But they have state tax, so Texas reigns supreme.
Yeah, those motherfuckers, man.
Hey, one thing when I moved to Texas was hard for me. I don't know how it was for you in New Orleans growing up, but like growing up in Pennsylvania, walking down the street, you don't make eye contact with people. If you do, like you're probably gonna have to fight somebody. And it's just because everyone's on edge up there. I don't know why. Everyone's angry. And when I first moved to Texas, like I'm walking down the street, people are like, "Hey, how's it going? Like, what's up? Howdy, y'all. Morning." Like. What the fuck? People are nice here. Like, I had to get used to that at first. I'm like, am I about to throw down with people? Like, they trying to set me up.
Yeah. See, that's I was always so used to that, especially being in Tennessee. It's the same exact way, but for me, I think it's a little bit more well, not for me. In Tennessee, I think it's a little bit more elevated in the fact that like people are like extra nice. And I lived in like the Bible Belt.
Okay.
People are just super, super nice. I don't know what it is, what they got going on in the water, whatever. That holy water probably has some shit in there. So, but it was definitely very similar when I came to Texas, and I hear it all the time, like, oh, people are so nice in Texas, because like I listen to Joe Rogan quite a bit whenever I'm going to and from work, because my commute is so trash. I have like an hour commute to work.
Oh,
and that's not including traffic. Oh, it's so terrible. But I got time to consume audiobooks or podcasts, and I hear Joe Rogan and some other whoever he has coming on talking about how nice people are in Austin, and I'm like, is this like different for people? Because I never really thought about that because I was always so used to Tennessee and people just being extra nice and stuff like that. So, but
so I was thrown off by your microphone there because it's black, so it blends in with you. But I see the stick. And I see like moving it back. I'm like, does he have like a sipping machine rocking there on somebody, or what's going on?
Yeah, this is kind of it's kind of ghetto. I don't really have I got I can't remember the boom. Well, I can't remember what the hell this is called.
The boomstick.
Yes. So, but like this little area right here is like so ghetto. Like it's just like connected on a screw and that's it. But whatever, it works. So,
hey, it's all you need—a microphone that works.
Yep, that's right.
What else? I love Texas. One thing though, I remember when I was moving there, I thought it was going to be more country. Like I said, I just came from a small town in Pennsylvania, not knowing shit. I didn't know anyone my first year. I absolutely hated Dallas too when I first moved there because you have no friends, and I'm always a sociable person.
Yeah.
And I remember I first moved there. I was working with the Dallas Stars, so I'm excited. I'm finally out of the NHL. I'm sorry, I'm finally out of the minor leagues. I'm working in the NHL. I even went, I think it was my first or second day, I went to Twin Peaks, which is, for people who don't know Twin Peaks, or not Twin Peaks, Third Base, sorry, and Frisco there. It's basically a Hooter on steroids where they wear less clothes than Hooters. And somehow it's legal. I don't know. It was very classy, very classy. And the girl's like, oh, what do you do for a living? And I was excited. It's the first time I can say, like, oh, I work for an NHL team, I was excited. And I was like, I work with the Dallas Stars. And she was like, oh, why them? You moved halfway across the country to work for them? She's like, you should have got a job with the Cowboys. Like, that shit's easy. Like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, they're just shitting on, like, what you're passionate about. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Now turn around and let me see that butt.
Yeah, that's right. So, wait, it was called Third Base?
It was Third Base. They keep changing their name, though, I think, because they kept getting in trouble.
So, I know of a place that was...
The food was delicious, though. I was only there for the food.
Oh, for sure. It's a family restaurant.
Yeah.
Now, I know of a place that's around here. I don't know if it still exists, but it was called Tight Ends.
So Tight Ends is just down the street from where that used to be. It was by the Dr. Pepper Star Center, the Stars practice rink.
Okay.
Actually, I think a couple of the former Stars players are the ones that opened at Tight Ends.
Oh, okay.
But same concept. Very well dressed, delicious food, cold beer. What you want, right?
That's all you need. I remember the first time going to like a Twin Peaks, and I also remember the first time going to Tight Ends. I was like, what? So good explanation. They're very well dressed. So
I will say though, Twin Peaks pot roast is phenomenal. Must get if you guys haven't had Twin Peaks pot roast.
Can't say I ever have. We're my girlfriend. I'm doing it again. My fiance and I are very close to like Lower Greenville. So
a
lot of stuff's popping up over there. Like normally when it's not so hot, we'll walk over there and just kind of check out all the food that they have to offer down there. Because that's one thing that I've had a very hard time doing is kind of like controlling my myself when we're like if we're gonna go eat, because I was in the bodybuilding.
Try everything.
Exactly. So I was in the bodybuilding world for like 6 years, whatever. I never really competed, but I was surrounded by that type of environment. And I was always like going to the gym, very strict on doing, that whole gig. And I moved here and I was like, I want to try everything. This food is just too good. And I gained a lot of weight since I've been here. And actually just yesterday, I started back at the gym. I'm using a meal prep service and everything. And I'm just trying to feel better about myself. Cause like I was consistently feeling like shit waking up in the morning, cause I would just eat all this food and drink all this alcohol. And I'm like, I'm too young for this shit. I'm 30, I'm 31. I can't be looking. I can't. Yeah. Cause I think it's going to be a little bit harder to get to where I used to be now versus if I was in my 20s.
So why do you still care though?
So it's more of a mental thing for me. So like, it's an anchor for my day. So whenever I go to the gym and I kick my ass, it's just such a, you get those endorphins flowing and you just feel good. And then once you actually start seeing progress with like the physical side of it, it gets very addicting. But to me, it's not. It's more so of a mental thing, really. So,
see, I always ask people this question because everyone's working out, and I just stopped. I don't know if I stopped caring, but I feel just as happy eating a pizza and taking a nap on my couch. But that's me. I grew up playing sports. I did wrestling after high school, like pro wrestling, where it's workout, workout, workout.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Texas, I stopped with wrestling at like 25. I was like, I'm never going to a gym again. Fuck that. I'm over it. I don't care what I look like. I don't want to live till I'm 90 because those people look miserable, can barely walk around. I'd rather live till I'm 40 and have the time of my life. You go eat, like you said, you want to try everything. I'm the type of person, when I go eat at a new place, if I don't know something, I'm ordering 2 different entrees. Because if I don't like one, I'm going to be pissed. It's going to ruin my night. So at least I have a backup plan. And the problem is I end up liking both dishes and I eat it all.
That's how I am, man. I eat so much.
That's how you get a nice gut like this. But like I work with athletes and they're like, hey, work out. Like, because they got state-of-the-art gyms at these facilities. And I can go work out if I want. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need that in my life. But yet they think because they do it, other people should be always working out and looking good. And fuck that. I'll die when I'm 40.
As long as you're
not
living.
That I want to die. Not that I want to die or I don't have a death wish or anything like that. Because then people think I'm suicidal. But it's just I live in the moment. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Let's have fun today and make this enjoyable.
Yeah, that's funny that you bring that up because I was thinking about this the other day. It's like I am always battling like what's up here. Like, your mind's always racing and like it's like, this morning I woke up, I was like, okay, I gotta go do cardio or whatever. And it's like, fuck that. I'm gonna just whatever. And where am I going with this?
You lost me at cardio.
Yeah. My
cardio is rolling over.
So it's I can't really exactly remember where I'm going with this, but I don't know. I totally forgot. But scratch.
So wait, where did you bodybuild in Tennessee or Texas?
Tennessee. So okay. and again, I never competed. I just was kind of surrounded by a lot of professional bodybuilders. I did that whole prep for a show, whatever. And I did that for a while, and just wanted to see what it was like. Because at the end of the day, what really makes me happy is hard work, and that's it. So I love working hard and be able to see like the fruits of my labor, if you will. So and it's just a fun ass thing, man. And like the people I was surrounded with were so welcoming and enjoyable to be around, but they're also there to to work. And I just love being around people
Pump you up.
That's right. Good old NSL skit right there.
Saturday Night Live skit.
Yep.
I always make fun. I got a buddy, Brandon Alejo. He lives in Dallas and he's a bodybuilder. And I always fuck with him. He gets so mad at me. He's like, "Hey, it's not that much work. It could be. I'll train you." I'm like, "Nah." I was like, "I'll call you after my nap. We'll see who's happier." And then he's out. Meanwhile, I'm covered in pizza and wings and stuff. Hey, speaking of Greenville, you have to try. It's called Fast Furious. It's like a to-go hibachi spot. So it's like $13-$14 for like the steak and I love hibachi, man. I could eat that every freaking day of my life. Okay. But it's like only $13 or $14, and it's a good size proportion, but they use good quality meats. So I remember the first time I seen it, I was like, "Oh, it's probably shitty meat, right?" They got to make their money somehow. But it's just as good if you go to a high-end hibachi spot.
I'll have to take a look at that.
But not Benihana. Fuck Benihana. I hate Benihana. Oh, that's like the Walmart of hibachi. You need to go to mom and pop shops.
I love supporting small businesses, so I'm all about it. Okay, I remember what I was going to say now. So you were talking about living for the moment. So that made me think of Michael Jordan in The Last Dance. So I'm sure you've seen that on Netflix, right? Yeah. Everybody saw that because that came out like peak COVID. Everybody's at home.
I had to wait till it was done, though, because I have an addiction where I'll watch the whole fucking series at once.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait a week for the next episode. So I hear everyone talking, and I'm like, "Oh, it sounds so good. I want to watch it." But I had to wait till they were done so I could bang it out. But that Rodman stuff was unbelievable.
God, it's such a good documentary. And so I remember him talking about, why am I going to worry about what hasn't happened yet? So it was very specific to I think it was a Bulls player that played for them for like maybe a year or two, Scott something. I can't remember his name, but they would shoot threes or whatever, and like Michael Jordan would never miss. And he's like, I'm not going to worry about missing this shot because it hasn't happened yet. And that just made me think of that. And I'm like, one thing I try to really work on is to not worry about like what's happening tomorrow, just be present in the moment. And it's a very hard thing to do because like you're always battling like with whatever's up here. And I'm working on it every day. I'll wake up and like think of just some random shit. And I'm like, why am I thinking about this? But it probably also has to do with like waking up and then pulling this up and looking at social media.
Is that porn?
No, that's
far out. It just looked like skin. That's her red hair. Okay.
Yeah, there she is, red hair.
Wow,
that's the ginger.
God damn.
So,
I do think it's important though to live in the moment. A few years, probably pre-COVID, a couple months before, I hate how we all were on our phones, and I'm guilty of it. I'm not saying I don't do it, but you literally go somewhere and everyone's on their phone. You at a concert, whatever, everyone's on their phones, recording, texting. You're not having a good time. So I went and I turned all my social media notifications off my phone. The only reason my phone rings if it's a phone call or text. That's it. And then I don't check any social media if I'm not at home because I'm going to get stuck like everyone else in that wormhole of dog and food videos. And then 2 hours go by and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So it made me – I feel like it made me happier. Definitely made me a better comic because I'm not worried about what other comics are doing. I'm just focusing on myself. And you enjoy things when you go out. Hell, I went around Buffalo here the other night. Bored, I start walking around looking at buildings. And I'm like, that's a nice building. Like, what type of loser am I? I'm looking at buildings, but I would have never even acknowledged it because I probably would have been walking on my phone, going to some location, texting, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a rant.
No, that totally makes sense. Now, I love talking about shit like this because, like, I had talked about this the other day with a buddy of mine. It's like I feel like we're so connected and then disconnected at the same time because of social media, you know. And as men, I feel like it's very it's kind of like you can't talk about what you're feeling. It's like you need to shut up. You're masculine, you know, throw some dirt on it. Don't cry. Don't show your emotions, whatever. You know, I get it. I know how that is. You know, I grew up with, you know, playing sports and stuff like that. Whatever.
Oh, in sports, that's a big no-no. You got to be a man, shut the fuck up, play through, whatever.
So, like, as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, and this is a very minuscule example, but it can turn into something big if you let it. It's like one thing I normally do is I'll maybe leave the cabinet door open for whatever reason in our kitchen, and my girlfriend will be like, "Can you close that?" And then sometimes she won't say anything, and I'm like, I'm thinking, okay, if something as small as that builds up to get, you know, to a bigger problem, then that you know, it's gonna be a problem. So talk to me about that, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going on a rant. So.
No, I get it though. I mean, I'm a clean freak at home too. Everything's got to be back how it was. I don't know. I could be growing up too, never be able to find the remote. It's always hidden in the couch somewhere, whatever. But I get where she's coming from.
Yeah.
But the one thing with mental miles I want to touch on real quick here, sorry, is working when I was with the Dallas Stars, there was a guy by the name of Stephen Johns. So during my time there, we made a trade for Patrick Sharp, who, for people who don't know, at that time was a 3-time Stanley Cup winning champion. To me, that's the biggest name involved in this trade we just made. But everyone's making a big deal about this Stephen Johns, who was a minor league guy at that time. And they traded for him. He came right up, played, unbelievable player for the Stars. And he got a concussion, and he just wasn't mentally there. And he was due to sign his next contract was going to be like, you're set for life. He was that good of a player. But he was just mentally not there. And he would try to tell the trainers and stuff, hey, like, and they would just kind of like write him off. Like, no, like, stop being a pussy. You know what I mean? It's that sports mentality. And I know that today's media is going to be like, oh, we got to cater, da-da-da. But that's how sports are, whether you like it or not. But he just retired. Just said, you know what? I don't need this. Like, I need to fix my mind.
Yeah.
So he retired before he signed his big ticket. And he just woke up one day and he's like, I'm going to go skate across the country. He rollerbladed from Pennsylvania all the way to the ocean in Seattle. And I see this, and here he got a buddy, Jeff Totes, who used to do video for the Stars. went with them and like documented this trip of his. And at first, they didn't know what they were going to do with it. He's like, I just want to film it and see what comes of it. And he did his first day, and obviously you follow on social media your friends. And I see he was in Detroit. It seems like everything with me circles back to Detroit. I should start claiming that as home. The second day he was coming through Detroit, so I hit him up because I had my blades with me, and I was like, "Bro, you care if I go skate with you? Like, I'll come out." And at that time I didn't know they were documenting. And then I show up and he has the camera there, and he's like, "Hey, we're doing this," and it was cool. It blew up. He wasn't expecting nothing to come out. He wasn't trying to do anything. It was his personal journey to re-find himself.
Yeah.
And it blew up. They end up turning it into a documentary. They haven't released it yet. They're still waiting on the NHL to give them permission to use some of the footage. Because even his last concussion wasn't a big hit, like where people think like, wow, that guy got clobbered into the boards. He's knocked out. It was just like a little subtle bump. And he wants to show it's not always the biggest hits. But his whole thing is just to raise more awareness. Like, it's okay to be this big bad man and still have mental troubles. Like, don't be afraid to talk to somebody. That's the only way you're going to get better. Now, you don't have to go to a therapist to talk to someone. It could just be a friend or what have you. You know what I mean? It's not, let's pay lots of money to a therapist. As long as you're talking to somebody about it. And that's all he wants to do with it. And he even said the money that they make from the documentary, he's just going to donate it to like mental research stuff. He's not going to keep a dime of it.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. I like that. I'm going to write this guy's name down. What's the? I'll write it down once we get off here. But what's his name?
But his name's Stephen Johns, and the hashtag is Mental Miles. So if you look up Mental Miles, they'll bring up his whole passion about and talking. Like I said, it just comes from being the big bad man, where people think you can't be mentally. Not that you're unstable, just everyone's life sucks at the end of the day. Let's talk about it. I know we were this day and age where everyone's posting the coolest, nicest things on Instagram. Meanwhile, they're at home hating their life.
Yep.
So it's just, okay, let's talk to people. And that's what's going to solve a lot of these shootings, I personally think. Not that I'm getting here to get political, but it's just those people have nobody to talk to. Like, it can help.
Yeah, that's crazy that you bring that you. Well, that's not crazy that you bring that up because it's like such a. It's in the media. Hot topic right now. Yeah, exactly. So,
I'm not a comic who does the political or hot topic humor. Whether you like it or not, just stay away from that stuff. I don't think you can win one way or another, no matter what side you take.
Yeah, and I'm not educated. I'm not very well educated in all that stuff. I'm not gonna pretend like I am.
I'm not educated at all. I got expelled from high school. I never finished.
So I went on what's called the Ready Team for UPS, and depending on what's going on, in certain areas of the country, they'll get management resources together, like, hey, you need to go over here, whatever. Mm-hmm. So the next day after Uvalde in Texas, that mass shooting happened, my boss was like, hey, I need you to go to Uvalde. And I was like, oh crap. I was like, okay. So I went down there, I just, did whatever they need me to do, helped them out. Very rural area. UPS Center dispatches maybe 15 drivers, not even. And that's very small comparatively to where I'm at in Fort Worth, where we dispatch 300 drivers a day. Yeah. So get there, and half of their fleet wasn't even there. It was just everybody that was working was pretty much a management resource or a driver that came from XYZ city. And I would deliver into some businesses while I was there, and they had armed guards in there. I went to a Whataburger, delivered there, and I was like, this is so surreal. It was very, very weird. Very weird thing to do.
Yeah. Especially seeing it somewhere like at Whataburger that should be the happiest place on earth. You shouldn't be causing any problems there. even if they do make you wait a long time for your food, which I still don't understand. But
dude, yes. I thought it was the only one that happened to, because so you know where Texas Motor Speedway is at, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the UPS that I work at is right down the road from there. And there's a Whataburger there. Every now and again, if I'm leaving late from work, you know what? I'm going to stop at Whataburger. The first time I did it, I was in line for 40 minutes. And I'm like, what are they doing?
Probably 5 cars, not even that many cars.
Yeah. But I never had Whataburger until I came to Texas 2019 for the first time. And I tried it, and I was like, oh, my God. This is so good for fast food.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I remember because I come from Pennsylvania, so it's definitely a Texas-based Southern place. And I never had it. I remember in the beginning, I was like, "This is the best burger I ever had." But I do feel like it's dropped off a bit. Now, have I overate it? Maybe, which I do a lot of things. But I think I've come to learn. I think Texas has too many Whataburgers, so filling the workforce out gets polluted with people who don't care as much. Because I remember I was in Arizona a few months back, and I got Whataburger there, and it made me feel like the first time I had Whataburger again. So because that's the only one in Arizona, they could get better workers. I'm not trying to shit on workers that the Whataburgers have in Texas, but you know what I mean? Where it could be people who live in Arizona from Texas. I'm going to work at Whataburger. That's my place. So they're more passionate about their food. So does that make the quality better when they're preparing it? But if I'm in Texas, the only thing I can get from Whataburger anymore is those chicken strips because they're unbelievable. Probably the best chicken fingers ever.
I don't think I've had those. I've had, I usually just get a burger when I'm there.
Treat yourself. It's good chicken fingers.
Dude, speaking of chicken, have you ever had Dave's Hot Chicken? You ever heard of them?
Babes?
Dave's with D as in dog, Dave.
No, I've never had Dave's.
So I think it's maybe specific to Texas. I know there's one in like Addison, and then I think maybe two in like Fort Worth. And Chick-fil-A, people always say like, "Oh, it's the Lord's chicken." It's very good. Which Chick-fil-A is good. It's good. It's a good fast food joint.
I've never had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was raised on KFC, so I'm going KFC. I don't venture from what I know in life.
So I had Dave's Hot Chicken about 2 months ago for the first time, and I did a side-by-side with Dave's Hot Chicken and Chick-fil-A. Oh my God, that shit was so good. It's just chicken sliders, very basic menu.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I found a gold mine. It was so fucking good, man.
But so that's obviously not like a big chain, right? It's more of mom and pops.
Yeah,
I always feel like the food at mom and pops is better because the passion, they want you to enjoy what you're eating. It's not someone there getting there $12 an hour. Or it's like I can't wait to go home and fuck my boyfriend. You know what I mean? We all had those jobs at one point in life where it's like I need to get out of here. Got to get my 40. Or I'm turn up tonight. You don't care about your job.
No, not at all.
But you did say Dave's, and I thought it was Babes, which that's one of my favorite places to eat in Texas. Have you been to Babes yet?
I've always heard of it. I don't think I've ever actually been there though. So
there's no same concept. They don't even have a menu. They just tell you hey, we got fried chicken, chicken tenders, baked chicken. Depending on some of them have ribs, and then if I'm forgetting chicken fried steak, which how do I forget that? That's what I always freaking order. And then it's like a family style side, unlimited size, taters, green beans, the cream. Oh man, that cream corn's to fucking die for.
Oh,
and then salad. Their salad is just lettuce. That's it. But I always get extra salad because I don't even know what this dressing is. But it's just so. Oh, I'm getting a boner just thinking about it.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to go there.
Everyone who visits me in Texas, I make sure I take them to Babes because to me that's a traditional Texas meal. Okay,
I'm gonna have to check it out then because I have not. My fiance is always trying to think of different places that I've never been to since I've been here, and because some of my best friends are coming into town for the 4th of July.
Fast and Furious, you got to go to.
Fast and Furious.
So Fast and Furious, that to-go hibachi spot you got to try, and you got to take them to Babes. Fast and Furious is for you. That's obviously not Texas. That's Japanese. But you definitely got to take them to Babes.
Okay. I'll have to throw that in their ear because they're giving us lists of stuff that they want to do. And I'm like, I can tell you places I've been to that are pretty good, but I don't know if it's like a Texas staple or anything like that. So I'll have to check that out.
So obviously when people come visit me, I always go, I'll take them to Babes to eat. You got to go see JFK's stuff because that's obviously huge Texas history. And then I don't know if you know this, but Bonnie and Clyde are actually buried in Dallas and Fort Worth.
Really?
One's in Dallas, the other's in Fort Worth. I don't know. I don't remember which one's in which, but to me, that's history, right? Everyone always dreams of their relationship being Bonnie and Clyde. I
didn't know that. That's actually pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. I got time. I'm on vacation this week, so I'm not doing shit.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But all right, brother. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I really appreciate you getting on. Where can everybody that's listening and watching find your social media or any of your merch?
Across the board, every one of my social medias is at GingerNation96.
Perfect.
That's Twitter. I hate Twitter. If you want to follow me, I don't care. But Instagram, that's where you're going to find all my comedy stuff. I'm going to put up any show I'm doing coming up. I'm promote everything I do on Instagram. And I'll tell you what, for all your listeners, if you see me coming to one of your cities that I'm doing a show, message me and be like, hey, I heard you with Sean on his podcast. I'll leave you free tickets for the show.
Boom. Y'all heard it here.
That's a pretty good deal right there. And
That's a pretty good
lastly,
deal.
make sure you check out the movie Detroit Dreams, streaming now everywhere on Tubi. And I appreciate you having me out, man. I had a lot of fun with this. I know you said 30 minutes, but we went an hour. Hell yeah.
We did. It was fun. It was organic. So, yeah, I appreciate you getting on. Until next time, everybody. Peace.